So as many of you guys might know, the iPhone 15 series should be the beginning of a new design cycle, since Apple does change their designs every 3 years, and the chassis with the iPhone 12, 13 and 14 are very similar for the most part. And so yes, we should see a new body with the iPhone 15 series, and we now have some details regarding that. So the source says, number one, the chassis with the Pro models is no longer going to be stainless steel. Instead, we should see Apple switch to titanium instead, the same material they use with the Apple Watch Ultra. They also say the chassis could be slightly curved, and it's no longer going to be flat and squared like of course the current design is. Now do note they say slightly curved, so I don't think it's going to be a drastic curvature on the sides, but we could maybe see a design similar to the Galaxy S22 that has a flat front and back but with a chassis that's curved, and so yeah, that could be the design for the 15 Pro series. Alternatively, I would also love to see a design similar to the older iPod Touches, something with a flat front but with a slightly curved chassis. I think that would look great, but considering there should still be glass on the back for MagSafe, I think we could see Apple adopt the S22 design instead. And yeah, to be honest, I'm actually down for this because the flat sides, especially with the Pro models, dig into your hands because of the sharp stainless steel corners. And so yeah, maybe the slight curvature is going to prevent this. Honestly though, the bigger upgrade for me is titanium with the Pros because that's going to be a game changer for the weight of these devices. I've always complained about how heavy the Pro Max is, and titanium should drastically reduce the weight while keeping that premium feel in the hands. It should also be a matte finish, so no more disgusting fingerprints on the sides. So yeah, this is a very nice upgrade. The only thing I worry about is that with the titanium on the Apple Watch Ultra, it does scratch pretty easily, so is that going to be the case with the iPhone 15 Pro series? I really hope not. Maybe Apple can give us a coating that prevents these scratches. Also, another thing I do want to mention is that there is going to be a lack of color options if we do get titanium, because unlike steel, it's much harder to give us a color coating on a titanium frame, so basically expect next year's Pro models to be pretty boring when it comes to color options. And I believe there was a previous report suggesting this. They said the only colors available would be space, black and silver, so it's going to be like the iPhone X all over again, where of course the new design results in less color options. Now I do also wonder which iPhones are getting this redesign, because there has been a ton of talk regarding an Ultra in the works, and that model getting some exclusive features, and so is the redesign only coming to that? Or is the regular Pro getting this too, or is the whole range getting this? Well, I'm not sure yet, because there are some years like the iPhone 12 series where the complete range gets the redesign, but there's other years like the iPhone X where of course only the high-end iPhone gets a redesign. And so yes, I'm not sure what Apple's going to do with the redesign for the 15 series. Anyways, let's delve into your comments. So Swen regarding the regular iPhone 15 models, sticking to USB 2.0 speed says, I knew this was going to happen when I saw the slow speeds on the iPad 10. And yes, I also had a feeling that once we saw the slower ports with the new budget iPads, Apple was going to implement that with the regular iPhone 15 models. And to be honest, like I said in the original video, I don't think this is going to be a massive issue, because most people needing the Thunderbolt ports are going to be transferring ProRes and ProRAW footage, and that's only available on the Pro models. And so yeah, it does kind of make sense that the Pro models only have this. Since let's be honest, most regular consumers are just using the port to charge their devices, and they won't be transferring content, and so they don't need the faster speeds. And regarding this, Gaza says, Apple would get major negative press if they put USB 2.0 on any new iPhone. It feels so very wrong. And yes, I do understand that USB 2.0 is an antique spec, and I can understand why techies want that upgraded. But again, like I said, most regular consumers do not care about this, and so yes, I don't think the backlash with this compromise is actually going to be that massive. So Michael says, USB 2.0 speeds is because the silicon does not have a faster controller on the chip, and that is a fair point because we do know the regular 15s should reuse the A16 chip in the current 14 Pros, and those have USB 2.0 speeds. But even if Apple had the choice to give the regular 15 models the A17 chip and faster USB C speeds, I don't think they're going to implement it with the regular model, because ultimately consumers don't care about this. So Joe, regarding my comment that Apple does not change their design often because they prefer more refined and reliable experience, says he kind of disagrees with this. Apple can and should take a risk every once in a while. This is what I miss about Steve. And if we weren't in a recessionist stage and workers being laid off, I think we arguably will have a much different conversation. The regular iPhone 15/15 Plus having 60Hz in 2023 will be disrespectful. 90Hz isn't that noticeable, but it's better than 60Hz. I know regular consumers will be hard pressed to even notice it, but it would be nice. I don't like the change for the sake of change thing, but I think that person wanted Apple to take a risk. Now, in case you're wondering, this was the original comment. It was regarding a person wanting Apple to give us a quad camera design on the back. And to Joe's comment, I would say that yes, it would be nice if Apple could take a risk and be more fun as a company, I guess, but ultimately that depends on competition, because the whole point upgrades have not been as major recently is because Apple's kind of leading the market in all their major sectors. Yes, for the iPhone, there are some Android phones offering better specs, but ultimately you can only get iOS on iPhones, and I think in the US, market share for the iPhone is super high as is. And so yeah, basically if Apple wants to take a risk, there should be better competition that's switching Apple consumers to other devices. And the Pixel 7 might do that. It's a pretty strong device, but ultimately Google's a very small player, so yes, till Apple sees a massive drop in sales, I don't see them doing anything drastic. However, I do agree that we should see 90Hz on the regular models. 60Hz is abysmal in 2022, I agree with that. And actually, since we know the regular models are not doing that well, maybe Apple will be convinced to give us better regular models in the future. That could be the case. But I still think Apple's going to go in the refined and somewhat boring direction. And regarding your comment about Steve, I see a lot of people say this, but you've got to understand, when Steve was around, many of these products hadn't peaked yet. The iPhone had years of growth ahead of it, the same with the iPads, the same with the iPods, the same with the Mac for the most part. These still had major advancements ahead of them, so of course, everything Steve announced was major, but now of course in 2022, these products have been around for years, and they've been good enough for years. And so yes, if Steve was still around, I don't think the iPhone would have major upgrades. We did have S years under Steve's CS. I don't think things would have been drastically different. Anyways, that's about it for my thoughts, but of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours. Check out the video above on details regarding Apple's VR headset. And on that note, see ya peeps.